Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Khalifa, if we haven't met. Welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be talking about 10 habits that are keeping you poor. Now when I say poor, I don't always mean poor from a financial standpoint. I also mean poor from a mindset standpoint, from a growth perspective, and of course financial perspective as well. I also have to say I have been a victim to these as well until I've had the self-awareness and woken up and really changed my life to think differently, to act differently, and really woken up and stopped these habits that I was doing myself. Number one is keeping up with IG. Now, traditionally, this is known as keeping up with the Joneses, but my version of what I call this is keeping up with Instagram. I believe that Instagram can be a very detrimental or bad influence on those who have a weak mindset, perhaps on those who aren't secure or know who they are full well yet. It can also be taking a toll on those who do know who they are, because they are looking at stories and they are looking at posts from their friends and or people that they know or look up to, and seeing them level up and are not leveling up themselves. That kind of does two things. One, it makes you think you need to keep up with those people and perhaps spend as much as they are or buy the things that they are. And if you aren't buying those things, then you aren't in the same category. You can't be in the same conversation. And that is the wrong thing to do. I have been guilty of this myself, and I have caught myself buying things, buying cars that I didn't need, and lost money and have made me lose money and lose other things, all in effort to keep up with people that I really didn't care about or that didn't matter in my life. So I have been guilty of this as well. And I feel like this takes a big toll on people. And I feel like this plays a big factor in one of the reasons what's keeping you back or holding you back or keeping you poor is the keeping up with the Joneses or Instagram mindset. Instead, I really recommend that people really take a good look at their situation, what their goals are, what they actually want to do, what makes them actually happy, versus what Instagram says or what Instagram is telling them. And once you figure out what keeps you happy or makes you happy, create a plan and work backwards and figure out how you get to those goals or how you achieve the goals that you want. I took a social media break when I was on Instagram, and it did wonders for me. It really showed or opened my eyes in terms of what I care about and what my actual goals were, instead of trying to keep up with everyone that I follow on Instagram for whatever reason. So recap on number one is stop keeping up with Instagram and take a step back and realize what your actual goals are and what you want to achieve, and try to understand who you really are, who you really want to be. Who is the person, if you were to be asked on the street, describe yourself, and if you describe yourself as a certain person of certain character, certain morals, certain things you believe in, and then you realize that you are not doing those things, you need to wake up, change everything about yourself to make sure you are doing those things that make you that person you say you are. I also remember a few months ago, I went to a rally with all my friends, and someone approached me. I think he was a college student, and he asked me what I do for a living. He asked me how I got to the position I was in and what are some of the things that keeps me going. All the answers I gave him was someone I used to be, someone I strive to be, but not someone I was in the moment. And that kind of was a defining moment for me, and it kind of woke me up. It really made me realize I'm not who I keep saying I am, and I need to change that immediately. I need to become the person I'm saying I am to other people outwardly, and I need to do whatever it takes to be that person. The first thing I did was I got off of Instagram, got off of social media, and really, really honed in on my goals. Created goals, wrote down goals, and created a plan to achieve those goals. I'm still on that plan, still on that journey to achieve them, but while I was off of Instagram, it gave me the awareness of who I wanted to be and what I want to strive to be. So recap of number one is stop trying to keep up with Instagram and people you follow on Instagram, and try to really understand what your goals are. Number two, I have talked about this one countlessly in other videos, but career planning and future planning is so key, and it's so simple. Try to figure out where you want to be in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever, and write it down and create a plan of how you want to get there. If you don't know what your goals are, what you're trying to get to, I don't believe people are as driven to understand and be passionate about what they're doing. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur. I don't care if you are a corporate worker. You need to write down a plan, create a plan for what you think your future should be and how to achieve that. It is such a simple task. It is something you could do for 10 minutes a day or spend an hour a week, but start career planning, start future planning, and figure out where you want to be. An example of career planning is, let's just say I want to be CIO of a Fortune 500 company 10 years from now. I need to understand what roles I need to be in to get to that point. What skills do I need to learn to get to that point, to get to that level? What kind of jobs do I need to do? What kind of people do I need to meet? How do I get there? I have to create my plan to get there. It's not gonna magically happen for me. I'm not gonna just wake up one day and someone's gonna hand me a CIO position. I have to create a plan. And similarly, you can have goals in your own right, in your own industry, and even if you're an entrepreneur, but you need to create a plan. I do believe that there is an importance of creating a plan and some structure in your career or life or business that'll help drive you. It'll help keep you motivated, and it'll help you understand what the light at the end of the tunnel is. So it is really important to create a career plan, future plan, business plan of where you want to be, how you see your business scaling, or whatever that may be. Number 3, be freaking accountable. I meet so many people who say stuff that they're gonna do, but they never do it. And to be honest, it changes how I think about that person. It changes how much I respect that person or how much I look up to that person. I know people who say that they're gonna do things and they freaking do it. They get shit done. I also know people who talk a bunch and say they're gonna do this, this, and that, and they don't do a single thing. They get off of work, watch TV for about 6 hours, and repeat that every day. And they're gonna continue repeating it for the rest of their lives and never get anywhere. They marginally might be, moving up, but they're not gonna be where they wanna be. And one day they're gonna wake up and realize, oh shit, I should have done something with my life. So if you want different things from life, if you want to have things that are, let's just call more unique or more rare or a different experience from life, to wake up and get shit done is what I'm saying here. So be accountable, create your career plan, your business goals, your business plan, and be accountable to achieving those things. Make mini goals to achieve those things. You need to have discipline, essentially. So to recap, you have to be accountable and you have to have discipline. This goes for almost anything, whether it's a fitness goal or a business goal. Have the freaking discipline and the accountability to do what you're saying you're gonna do. I mean, that's a huge part of people who are successful that are around me. And whatever successes I've had is because I had the discipline and accountability to get where I am today. So be accountable and be disciplined. This next one is obvious, but it goes without saying. Living on more than you make and not being able to save, it changes people. It seriously changes people. If you are hand to mouth, if you are on a tight budget, you really don't have the freedom to think about future things. You don't have the freedom potentially to think about what you want to do from a career perspective or things of that nature. You're just worried about tomorrow's bills or today's bills. You're worried about how to put food on the table. So think of ways you can control your budget and really save. Stop chasing that car, stop chasing that material item, make you keep up with Instagram or the Joneses, but then really pull you down. You're gonna wake up depressed, you're gonna wake up upset, instead of motivated, instead of understanding what you need to accomplish that day. You're just gonna be stuck in a rut. So really, you gotta rip the Band-Aid off and get rid of the things that are pulling you down so that you can have a clear mindset. I strongly believe if you are so worried about bills or so worried about your daily life and money, you're not gonna be able to think clearly. So you know your expenses best, and some part of you knows that the habits you're creating or some of the habits you have are not financially smart. Whatever it means, whatever it takes, get rid of those bad habits so that you're in a place where you could think about your future and start planning for your future. On a personal note, I have been in this situation. I grew up, low middle class, I'll say, and I remember my parents being worried about bills, being worried about other things, and it got to me as well. And having that kind of worry is extremely stressful. I've also had that in my adult life, and I know I never want to get back to that point again. So it really affects how you think. It really affects how you function and your mood overall. So create a budget, live under your means, start saving, and get rid of that financial stress that's not letting you plan for your future. This next one goes with being accountable. If you are working a 9 to 5, or if you are working whatever jobs you're working, and all you do when you come home is sit on the couch and watch TV, honestly, you are wasting your time and wasting your life. You should be able to carve out some time on a daily and or weekly basis to learn a new skill, to do other things, to network with other people. Essentially do something outside of work that's gonna help you grow. Only you will know where you wanna grow into, or what field, what industry, what thing you wanna do, so learn more about it. There's nothing you're gonna gain from watching TV for 6 hours a day when you come home. So I highly suggest you stop watching TV for 6 hours, cut that down or time box that time to 1 to 2 hours, and find something better you can do with your time. These kind of habits is what holds people back. I don't know any successful person around me that watches TV for 6 hours a day and is able to do that and have the success that they have. So if you want success in whatever right that means for you, stop watching TV for 6 hours a day. Time box what that time looks like to 1 to 2 hours and find something better to do with your time. This next one goes hand in hand with creating a budget or living under your means. If you are not in the position now where you have a nest egg or 6 months of emergency funds or things of that nature, that is something you also want to do, because once you have a nest egg, or once you have some sort of financial independence or somewhat feeling of financial independence, it helps you think from a clear mind, like I was mentioning, but it also affects how you think at work and how you speak at work and how you act at work. So for example, if you won the lotto tomorrow and you won $10 million, if you go to network the next day, your attitude and how you'll behave will be completely different from how you were if you were broke the day before. So in other words, I'm not saying you're gonna go in and storm the place and try to quit your job, which some people I'm sure do, but you're gonna speak your mind. You're gonna come with a point of view that you feel is important, that you feel like is worth arguing, that you feel like can bring value. So essentially, financial independence helps you bring out the best parts of your mind and use your mind in the way it was intended to help drive important decisions without worrying about your job, without worrying about am I gonna piss off my boss when I say this, even though I think it's really important to say. So create a nest egg, get some sense of financial independence, and I strongly believe that that'll help your career. That'll help how you're viewed in your job and help your demeanor, your self-confidence, etc. when it comes to work. This next one, don't buy that Chanel purse. Don't buy that watch. Don't buy things that you can't afford 10 times over. And I'm exaggerating with that, but my point here is, if you are looking to buy your dream bag, your dream watch, or dream whatever material item or object that you want, create a small mini plan how you can save to buy that item. That will do two things. One, you'll create this discipline that'll teach you and really how to save for that bag or whatever it is each month until you hit your goal of the amount you need to spend on that bag. And having that discipline is a life goal that'll help you forever. The second thing it'll do is you will have no regret or remorse when you buy that bag, because you'll be buying it with full confidence. You'll know you saved for months or whatever it is, and you'll feel extremely proud of yourself for buying that, as opposed to buying it on a credit card with 30% interest and paying it off every month or whatever the case may be. I highly recommend saving for that material item rather than racking up credit card debt. Debt is one of the biggest problems in the United States, and it owns people versus people owning their debt. Again, I have been a victim of these things too, but I've learned from my mistakes as well. So I strongly recommend, don't let the material item own you. I understand people who want to buy it, but one thing keeping people back or holding people back is basically letting their debt own them versus the other way around. Okay, this one is a hotly debated subject. A lot of our parents or previous generations have always told us to buy our first home, and buying a home is better than renting. I strongly believe times have changed. I have bought several homes in my life. I will say there was a bit of influence when I bought my first home, and maybe I shouldn't have bought it, right? I strongly believe you need to weigh the pros and cons. You need to make sure when you're buying your home, one, you're not being pressured into it because you feel like it's a thing you have to do. And it's the thing you have to do, but make sure it's where you want to live. Make sure it's where you want to have a family, grow a family, etc., where you want to be long term. So, don't be pressured into buying an asset or buying a home or buying a car. Really make sure you can afford it. Really make sure you're comfortable with it. Really make sure you need it. Sometimes if you're not sure about the city, if you're not sure about the location, if you're not sure about if it's going to grow in value, I wouldn't suggest buying a home. Buying a home is a big responsibility versus renting, and there is nothing wrong with renting. It is not wasted money. It is just time it is just money you are spending to make sure of your decision long term, to make sure you know what your future plans are for your home. So I suggest making sure you do your due diligence whenever you are buying versus renting. The next one I've talked about as well is, I feel like we all know that one friend who is extremely successful or has some level of success that we aspire to be. And it is unfortunate if you are not leveraging your network. And so what that means is if you have one friend or a few friends that are doing really well, it is a disadvantage you're doing to yourself if you are not picking their brain, if you are not going to them with just a humble mindset and trying to understand what they did right and how you can emulate that. Understanding how maybe they can help you. I really dislike people who all they do is they blame others for their mistakes, they blame others for their failures instead of being accountable and really going after what they want. So don't rely on your friend who's doing better, but instead reverse shadow them. So follow, maybe talk to them about what they do, talk to them about how they can get in, talk to them about how you can get into the business and try to figure out your way in. Maybe it's not an area you want to be in, but you can take some of their successes, emulate that in your own way. So if you're not leveraging your network, even extended network, then that is a disadvantage that's holding you back as well. I would say I've slowly over the years grown my network from nothing, from zero to what it is today. And I have a network I love, I enjoy talking with people on, I love learning from. I have what I call almost like a soft mentor that I look up to that helps me in my career or some decisions I make. So really not leveraging your network is a huge disadvantage. Last but not least, I believe strongly in finding a mentor. So someone you look up to, someone, whether you know them or not, you can always reach out to people and meet new people by networking, but find someone you look up to that can kind of serve as a mentor to you. So they can guide you in terms of career, they can guide you in terms of life or whatever it may be, but the thing you need guidance in. So find someone that can mentor you, you can learn from their mistakes, learn from their successes, and really, lean on them to ask questions, really lean on them to help you in your career or your journey. Oftentimes, they can steer you away from mistakes they've made, and they can guide you to the things that have worked for them. And so having a mentor or multiple mentors is a huge advantage that successful people have that a lot of people don't think about, don't take advantage of. So try to find someone in your network, whether it's a friend, a colleague, someone you've run across in the past, reach out to them, whatever it may take, whatever it may be, and see if that person can help you and have an honest conversation with them. Tell them about where you are, where you're trying to go, and see if they can mentor you along the way. That doesn't mean you're meeting with them every day, every week, etc. It could be like a monthly, a quarterly, every few months check-in, just to give you that bit of guidance to help you along your journey, to gut check you, to make sure you're making the right decisions. So in summary, having a mentor is a huge pro, and people who don't leverage their network or have a mentor are really keeping themselves back. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to run through this very quickly to talk about 10 habits that are keeping people back, that also are being used by successful people to push them forward. I strongly believe that if you adopt these habits, even if you don't adopt all of them, it can extremely propel your career, help you in life, and etc. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Khalifa out.